Finally, we've all been waiting for the Daily Swift to just hurry up and get fixed. I mean, it's literally had way too many videos on it. Finally, I come back to use and the car is actually fixed. We're going to go back in time in the snap of my fingers, and then we're going to have a look at what happened to get to where we are today. Alright, we all knew that the Daily Swift had problems. I mean, when are the Swifts not having problems? TM and Daily are extremely problematic, but that gives us something to build from for my YouTube channel. What happened with the Daily Swift? Well, we all found out as soon as it all went all pear-shaped because I started posting videos about it. And all we really knew was that it had a check engine light, it was dumping an excessive amount of fuel, and it was running extremely rough, cutting out, you know, it was just running like a pig really. So I immediately got it a scan, which I don't even have the paperwork with me actually. In fact, it might be in the back of the car. It is, I feel the folder. Alright, so what I did was, first thing that I actually did when it started going wrong is that we put it into the local auto parts store to get them to do a scan on it, which was only like $16 or something like that, reasonably cheap, hence the reason I got it done. It came up with the code mass airflow sensor signal too high. P0103 was the code, which is a high output from the sensor. What I then did was I actually just got so frustrated with it that I ended up putting it into Hut City Auto Electrical, and it costed me $55, and this is what it says here. Check fault with airflow meter code. Check data and find airflow meter reading 655 grams per second. Now, to give you an idea, right, the average reading of a car of this kind with a small engine of 1.3 should be 1 up to 12 grams per second at idle, and when revved it should go up to maybe 20, 30, you know, it should be changing, right? We had a default reading which was staying at 655 grams per second. Swap with other sensors. So I actually went in, when I brought that scan tool, I actually ended up, when I put it in for the scan itself, it's super cheap. I then decided, no, I'm not paying for this every 5 minutes. So I went and brought, oh, where is it? I went and brought this. This is an Autel Maxi scan tool, which it's Bluetooth. This device plugs into your OBD2 port, and I got it because it was a very inexpensive tool, okay? This costed $130 plus shipping, so about 140 New Zealand dollars. I got the tool and it comes with 1 free software, okay? I chose Suzuki, naturally, because I only own Suzukis. This tool syncs to your phone via Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. It connects up, and then it allows you to do diagnostics, plus it has lots of functions, like you can program keys, you can reset the oil light, service lights, you can reset airbag computers, like all sorts of stuff, right? And you can view live data, which is pretty cool. This tool actually worked really well, but the tool wouldn't allow me to fix the problem. We kept getting the same code, even on this, P0103. So I thought, nah, there has to be more to it. So I put it into the Hut City Auto Electrical, just like I said. And here's where we was up to, okay? Swap with other sensors, no change. Checked wiring back to ECU, which I had actually already done that, and I found no issues with the harness, the wiring, nothing. And it was really bizarre to me because it happened after I fitted that front bumper. Anyways, check wiring back to ECU, power and earth. No change. Suspected faulty ECU. So I said to them, quote it up. They said, okay, it's going to cost you about 400 bucks. And then I thought, nah, that's far too much. And then I went to Suzuki, I rang them and they said $1,800. So I was like, nah, I'll go to Swift Car Parts New Zealand, because I actually text the guy on my mobile phone quite regularly for advice, tips, help, that kind of stuff. And I brought an engine ECU computer which had the identical numbers to the one that was already in the car. And then that came to me, it costed $108.70. And I also got an engine oil filter O-ring, which is a little O-ring that sits in the oil filter housing to fix that damn oil leak that it's got. Because, so when it next gets a service, which is actually very soon, we're going to sort out that oil leak while we're in there. So those costs came to $142.50. I then got the computer, and then I thought, oh, I'll use my tool to program the key to it. Well, it didn't work. In fact, it said functions not supported. So I was like, oh, okay. So I did a bit of information digging and found out that only the dealer can do this. So I went to Brendan Foote, which is Brendan Foote Suzuki, which is, you know, that's the name of the dealer. And I gave them that new ECU, well, second-hand used ECU, whatever, and I said to them as follows: swap ECU that was currently in vehicle with second-hand ECU supplied by the customer, me. Reprogram new ECU and key, tested operational, all okay. And that came to $158, which, oh, where is it? $158.50 is how much that costed anyways. And then in amongst trying to sort out this problem, I actually went out and bought a new mass airflow sensor, which I don't think I'm going to be able to, oh, there it goes. Mass airflow sensor, and that was $77 out the door. So I got it a new airflow sensor. So we got a new airflow sensor in it, and we got the new computer. I do suspect that there was nothing wrong with the original ECU. Well, there was, because it was causing the problem. But I mean the sensor, the sensor, there wasn't a problem with either of them. I tried mass airflow sensor cleaner, I tried cleaning the throttle body out, I took all the air tubing off, checked for leaks. I actually tried so much to get the car to run better myself, and I thought, no, I actually can't do this. We need a proper auto spark. I myself would have never have guessed that the whole ECU was shot, but who would, you know? You use your scan tool to scan that computer. These tools don't tell you that the actual computer itself is bad, but I probably could have, you know, guessed by the symptoms. Anyways, that's sort of the story of how it all came about and what I did. Here is the footage in the snap of my fingers. I know I'm doing the snapping my fingers thing a bit because, I don't know, it just makes cuts and that so much easier for me for a quick edit for you guys. Anyways, I'm going to snap my fingers and we're going to be at the Suzuki dealership at the day that I picked up the car. Yous wouldn't believe it even if I told yous. I'm at the dealer, Suzuki dealer, which doesn't look like Suzuki, but I guarantee yous it is. Can you see Suzuki through there? Well, we're at the dealer anyways. I've just picked up the car and I thought we'd do a first start together. Now, the problem, as you well know, was this check engine light. I tried my best to get the ECU to sync with the keys. I couldn't personally do that. 3, 2, 1. Oh no. Oh my god, look, there's no more light. Now I'm going to go take it for a blat and see how it runs, and we'll come back in a bit. I actually already knew that the light was out because they told me it was out, but we'll come back in a bit and we'll give you some good updates on how she's running and performing. Another update, in this box here we have, this only arrived last week too, by the way. This is the new suspension for the daily. It's this brand and it's the gold, oh, bit of camera shake there, excuse that. Oh. So yeah, the gold, green and gold, and it also came with this, rust proof, which this just arrived from Japan just today. So I'm quite excited about that because, as we well know, the Daily Swift has a leaking shock. So I thought, let's not muck around, let's put a decent brand in it this time and hopefully prevent it. So it comes with all the bits. And what's good about my Daily Swift, I'll show you, the TM is actually currently on stands at the moment because there's so much weight in it. I don't know if you can see through there, but TM is like fully loaded to the max. Like, I couldn't cram anything more in it. Like, it's actually stacked to the roof. Like, there's so much stuff in here. And then the front isn't much better off either. Can't even open the boot. It's pretty full in here. There's a lot of stuff in here. And I've had to jack it up because there's so much weight on the axles. Anyways, we already knew about the one shock that was leaking underneath the Daily. This one here in particular, see all that fluid? So we're going to get rid of that ugly Laris brand, put something a bit better in it. Here we go, my final day at the storage unit, where TM has lived for the past 13 months and 7 years of my life has been in this very facility. We start off today with the Daily hanging off in the unit, and that's pretty out of it for me really, because I've never managed to have the car facing in the unit that way before. So what happened? Well, a few weeks ago I got a very nasty email from National Storage claiming that they was going to be putting the rent up by $85 per month, which I don't agree with. So I decided to empty the unit, and I've done that, and I even cleaned it. I mean, I didn't dust it or anything. I mean, it's actually not that bad. But I did what I said I would do. True to my word, I moved out. So what's happening with the Boosted Jaden YouTube channel, you might ask? Well, we are moving it to a new location, and I'm going to have my own house with a 4-car garage, which is 2 double garages in front of each other, merged into one big unit, and we're going to set up the Boosted Jaden YouTube channel there, and we're going to advance on the Swift builds. What does that mean for the channel in the meantime? Well, I'm going to be working out of somewhere else for the next couple of weeks while all of this gets sorted out. I'm waiting about 2 weeks to get my tenancy contract. Once that comes through, it's all going to be pretty quick from there, which will be excellent for everyone really. Hopefully even by the time the next video comes out, I've already signed it and I've got the wheels in motion there. The sad thing in here to me is TM isn't in here. Where's TM gone? Where's all my stuff gone? Well, I got rid of it all. Straight to the dump, the whole lot. Okay, I'm just kidding. I didn't do that. And I have packed in all of my prime possessions into TM. I mean, TM is chocker full of stuff, and it's underneath the car cover at an undisclosed location until further notice. Well, until I get the house, and then TM will be living with me for the first time, because TM has not lived with me for the 13 months I've owned it. So that's going to be huge for me because, wow, something that's never happened is I've never had both of my vehicles with me at any one time. So I'm quite looking forward to that actually, because it's got a few problems. It's got a smashed windscreen, it needs new adjustable suspension because one's leaking, it needs a few bits and pieces for its next WOF, and it also needs a few bits and pieces just to liven it up a little bit, because I feel like it deserves a treat now that it's running right. We're also going to put back together all the small things that I removed from the car, such as the PA system is missing, the speaker, the megaphone unit, that sort of stuff. We need to get that hooked back up, because I've installed that strictly for emergencies. If we had an emergency, I haven't got it installed, so I need to get that installed ASAP, if not before. We also need to reinstall the Recaro bucket seat into the Daily Swift. I'm actually sending that to an auto upholsterer and we're getting it redone, because somebody's been sliding along the side of it and I don't like that. It's broken down the foam, so we'll get that fixed. And we might even change the whole seat to leather. I'm not sure, I'm getting quotes and we're going to find out soon. What else are we going to do? I have got a nice new set of adjustable suspension for that actually, which I'm really excited to show you that, but more on that later. We've also got a few other bits and pieces for it, such as a new exhaust system, because after 250,000 kilometers that I've done in my Daily Swift, it's just time that I got a new sound to it. So far I've got the middle section, and I'm possibly going to opt out and do a straight pipe, but I don't know. I'm waiting on quotes for that also. What would you guys prefer, straight pipe or big bore exhaust? I mean, those are the two big options. Or there's a particular type of exhaust where it's got this valve that opens up in the middle of it. You push a button on a remote that attaches to your car's keyring, and you can have it quiet or you can have it loud and aggressive. Bearing in mind though that the Daily Swift is only a 1.3. TM is where the excitement's at. Poor TM actually has got two very cheese grated tyres, because there's so much weight in the back of it, it damaged the sidewall. So we've got a new set of tyres coming for the Daily, not the Daily, for the TM, Pirellis. Let's not put cheap and nasty tyres on TM like it's currently got. Let's put decent tyres on it that should have been on it in the first place. Anyways, I'm not going to get into a big raging argument with myself standing in front of a camera, because there's no point. And we need to address the oil leak issue on the Daily Swift. Starting underneath the vehicle, you can see that shock, if I can get you under here properly, see there's oil leaking on that shock and it's sticking really bad. So we've got some new suspension. The underneath of it's pretty good. I have got a new one of those middle sections for it also. And then it's got this exhaust here, the GT Hyperbox, which is Japanese. There's little Japanese symbols on it. It's actually quite a nice exhaust. But that middle section, I think it's standard. I don't think it's aftermarket, but it is in better condition than the new one, which is quite interesting actually. Also, if I pull us up, we've also got water in there, which that'll just be condensation, but it's under here where the real problems are, right under here. Check that out. There's so much oil coming off that filter. I actually think I might know what it is, but I can't be too sure. there's a rubber ring that's supposed to go inside the housing for the oil filter. That seal is missing. I've already got a replacement one, so we're going to go about getting that. And we're now going to talk about whether or not the Daily Swift is fixed. And the answer to that is actually yes. It is fixed. If we pop it up, handy things, eh? Those greedy gas struts holding up the bonnet so that I can open it up on camera with one hand. Anyways, the problem actually was, well, here's what we thought it was. Correction, what I thought it was. We started off with the airflow sensor, which I got a replacement one, which isn't a genuine, but it is a good quality aftermarket one. I then proceeded to check the harness out here. Then I proceeded to check out all the wiring that leads up into here, and then I took off all of this and traced it the whole way back until it came back round into that harness right there. Well, into that, it's not focusing, into there. So it was bundled up on all those cords, and then it comes into the ECU, which is the second plug over here. The problem was actually this computer was fried. Not this one in particular, the original one. This is a replacement one that I got from Swift Car Parts New Zealand. And if you don't know already, they are a really good place to get second-hand parts for. They're very helpful and they're very reasonably priced for what they are. And they're only a text or a phone call away. That's what I liked about them. Also, we did have some very dirty air filter, so I got the air filter cleaned properly with the proper stuff. Had to take that apart, soak it overnight, dry it out for a couple of days, and then put it back together. I also got a new one of these because this is the PCV valve that was fully blocked, so I got a new one of those, treated it, and I also treated it to a sensor cleaning here. That kind of just dangles because that actually attaches to the factory gearbox. Can't do much about that. There's all of the cabling for the megaphone, which I'm hoping that we can hook that back up soon. The problem lied in the ECU, so that's where the problem was. We've also got to check this oil cap because I haven't done it. And it's good. There's no concern there. I also managed to score this out of a fresh import a couple of weeks ago. This is a Japanese version of a Gopro. And I scored it for free, and it's going to mount up on the dash right there, looking at the gauges in TM, so that we can have multiple gauges on camera. Do like a picture on picture where we have the gauges in the corner of the screen, and then we have the normal camera going as well. So we've got two cameras filming on one screen to enhance your video content. I am working really hard to bring better content to the channel, and I know I haven't been posting recently, but I have been flat out busy with a new job, with fixing the Daily Swift, with moving out of the storage unit. I mean, the most buzzy thing for me is that this unit is empty. Like, completely empty. And if I stand right at the back of the unit, I mean, look at how big this thing is. Like, probably couldn't fit two Swifts in here, but, you know, could probably fit 3 or 4 Mini Coopers in here. It's a decent size. And it's bigger than a garage. That's the lock, which I'm going to actually leave it there. And when I leave, I'm going to leave that roller door open. Haha, just kidding, no I'm not. But I am going to say that this is the end of the road for me at the storage unit. We've finally got the Daily Swift fixed, and we're finally moving on to bigger and better things. 5 years, everyone, of my life tied up at this place. over 100 grand in storage fees over that time. $420 per month for 5 years. And then with a very substantial rent increase, I decided that this facility just wasn't worth it anymore. And I won't allow National Storage to say that this unit isn't in a good condition. Yes, it needs a quick basic sweep, but that's about it. I have left it in the condition it came to me in. There's a few marks on the floors for memories for them, including a very rare thing that you cannot buy from anyone, and that's skid marks from TM's tyres. I mean, whatever you do, you cannot buy those. They're sentimental. I mean, whoever gets this garage after me is going to get, number one, ripped off, and they're going to inherit pretty much all of TM's leftovers, really. So, good on them. I hope they enjoy it. And, yeah. Before we get out of here, this is just a final look at the garage with nothing in it. It's actually quite a decent space. I don't think it's worth the money that they want to charge for it. I thought we'd pull the door down together. Before I pull the door down though, I just want to say, follow me on Instagram if you're not already. Link will be in the description box and on the screen. It's probably not going to be clickable, but I'm working on making it clickable. Also, I post far more there than I do anywhere else. Bear that in mind. So maybe go check it out if you got some spare time. Also, subscribe to this channel if you're not currently subscribed. Subscribing to the channel means that it makes me feel a lot better about myself, and it gives me the confidence that I need to continue making these videos. It also makes it worth my while, because even just one subscriber gives me a confidence boost that I need to do it. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Let's pull the door down and let's get out of here. And there's the Daily Swift for the very last time, about to leave the facility. She's been a true trooper over that time. And done. In fact, I'm not even going to lock it. I'm going to put that like that. And that's a wrap. Driving out of this gate for the very last time. Oh, and typical of them, the gates. They got a brand new 5 grand motor just 2 days ago, and look at it. The gate doesn't even work. Typical, Oh, and they spent all this money, National Storage, on new keypads, and customers have to ring the 0800 number to get access to their own property. It's actually disgusting how they have treated their customers. Look, there's a sign on it. Typical of them, Typical. Unbelievable. Anyways, I am going to go now because the camera's blurry, and just for my evidence I am going to drop this key in the letterbox. That's my unit number, zc31s, gone. And the keypad for the absolute last time, 1192818. Exit granted, and the gate opens.